Beautiful friends, beautiful tribe. I hope that you are having a beautiful day today. What happened here? Turn that off. The full moon rolled in yesterday, friends, accompanied by Mars, Jupiter, and that tsunami wave of energy that's hitting like never before. Actually, I don't feel like it's that bad, but some people are getting hit pretty hard with this energy that's been flowing in. Hopefully y'all can hear me really well. I had to go live today, been too busy, didn't have time to record earlier. And we're just also welcomed in the second big energy shift of 2024, and baby, it's about to get real, friends. It's about to get real. So let us vibe today, vibe with the tribe, and allow me to assist you all in feeding that prediction addiction. As I am coming at you live from Sedona, Arizona, it is 5:22 p.m. here in Arizona, as we once again witness these energies hitting our planet. Over the past week, we've seen so many other predictions coming into fruition, and I have no doubt that over the coming weeks, we're going to see a lot more predictions coming into fruition. Today, we remember Matthew Perry once again, along with the fact that several folks were just arrested in what is now being called a homicide. Remember, a spirit told us that there was somebody else there, and somebody else that could have prevented this from happening, and therefore very much responsible for this situation, just as Spirit told us. And this isn't the only truth that's going to come flowing out of Hollywood. There's so much more to come, friends, and in the near future when it comes to Hollywood and all the other truths that are about to be leaked out. And in the realm of crazy weather and earth events, we witnessed several predictions coming into reality, starting with the hurricanes that spirits warned us for Puerto Rico, who were literally slammed, along with Bermuda, that caused more than 100,000 power outages between the two countries, or two islands, and the path, of course, of destruction. We're also seeing the warnings that Spirit had for New York and floods now hitting Long Island, New York. Not much. It seems like all the islands are getting sunk quite a bit lately, wouldn't you say? But what about the city itself? New York City, that's an island. A lot of people don't realize it. An island with an awful lot of weight on top of it. And we talked about it before, that New York is sinking. That's been scientifically proven and documented. Are they about to get hit with something really big in the near future? And what about all the power outages? And the power outages that Spirit warned us about. I bought a little generator because of it. That should tell you something right there, friends. And in my past weather predictions, a place that I warned was Russia when it came to earthquakes. And Japan. And Japan got hit exactly where I pointed to on the map just last week with a 7.0. And then also Russia. Not far from where the one in Japan, not too far away from each other, hit right off the coast of the Pacific of Russia, right? Not too far from Alaska either, right along that row of volcanic islands. And at the same time, a volcano erupted. At the same time as the earthquake, of course related to each other, no doubt, in Russia. Over the past weekend, so much has been happening with powerful shakings in places, and Spirit warned us of this window of time starting on the 17th. With major events and earthquakes. So, and the full moon, which was yesterday. And when did that quake hit Russia? 2 days ago, right before the full moon kicked in. So is there more on our doorsteps? And whereabout could there be more on our doorsteps? The rare and very infamous oarfish. Have you ever heard of an oarfish? Well, one of them was reported washing up on the surface in California. Now, the oarfish is a very deep sea living fish, so that's why you don't ever really see them. They're rare, extremely rare, and there's many legends around the oarfish. Did you know that do you know of the Japanese legend of the oarfish? When the oarfish, again a very deep living sea creature, washes to the surface, a great disaster, usually an earthquake, follows. Is this a sign that the California quake is getting even closer? Perhaps so. Perhaps so. Let me just check, make sure my sound's good, right? Everybody good? Awesome. Perfect. My sound good over there too? So it appears that the WHO is putting out a lot of concerns lately to folks with these different outbreaks. First, we have the bird bug. Then we have the monkey bug. And now they're screaming that there's new variants of the 2020 bug to be concerned about. But really, should we be concerned about it? Is there a plan to perhaps drop another one upon humanity? No doubt there is if we read prophecies and even the book of Revelation, but when, where, and why exactly? Could there also be a mass exodus heading our way to the planet Earth in alignment with my past predictions going back probably about 2 or 3 years ago? Along with a friend of mine, a good friend of mine, had a recent dream, another one of those dreams, friends, that we put the pieces together, and this dream was pretty wild, to say the least. I want to have dreams like the way he has dreams, but this dream could shed a lot of light on my past predictions and perhaps a coming mass exodus. So what would cause millions of people to exit? And when could this be possible? Is it possible? And again, it is in the prophecies, depending on which prophecies you're looking into. The DNC is happening right now in Chicago, and as I predicted, we are already seeing major protests and protesters breaking through gates. That happened yesterday. So is law enforcement going to let them, come into the building like they did the Capitol a few years ago? That building, perhaps they might just let them all in. Even more concerning is the preparation. This is really concerning, friends. The preparation that they are making in Chicago right now for a potential biochemical threat, which would align with one of my other past predictions as well. Did you know they set up little decontamination booths all around the DNC? Decontamination booths for biochemical weapon or threats. That's kind of creepy, friends, to say the least. And again, this aligns with one of my past predictions that I made where I saw some type of chemical being unleashed on people in a city. I didn't believe that was in the United States, but I could be wrong on where it is. And maybe it'll happen in several places. Let's hope it doesn't happen at all. And Harris is still hanging on to power, making claims of fixing things like the economy, when it hasn't been 3.5 years that they had the ability to already do that. I think they're all just weaved into the same web of darkness, friends. And nothing. All they did was allow millions of people to cross the borders. And they are still blocking RFK Jr. Why exactly? Why are they trying so hard to completely block him from the Uniparty? Kind of interesting. I would think more people should be asking that question instead of deciding between the two that they throw in our faces. Maybe we should do something different. Boy, wouldn't that be interesting that surprise that I said and predicted for the elections could be RFK, Bobby Kennedy Jr., taking the win? Wouldn't that be different? Is that even possible? Or are they going to put him in jail alongside of DT? They may just do that. We're going to talk about that today. So much to discuss today, including North Korea opening up its borders to tourists and the Ukraine gaining ground in Russia. But how much further will they actually get before Putin makes his huge move? He's going to. It's in past predictions. We're just waiting for him to come into fruition. So not only that, we have, again, so much to discuss today, beautiful tribe. So join me as we discuss last week's top stories and how they may or may not relate to predictions and prophecy, while also feeding that their prediction addiction with new stuff every week. There's always something new that comes in on. There will be today on this episode number 131 of Tuesday's Teatime Predictions Update. And I don't have my little sound machine with me. I totally forgot. So I can say y'all know what time it is. It's tea time, baby. But you're not going to get the cool voice. Sorry. I totally forgot to plug it in. I didn't forget to make my tea, though. So much, friends. So I want to welcome you to my channel, back to my channel if you're new here. My name is Joseph Tittel, aka Spiritman JT, and I welcome you with infinite love and gratitude. Down below in the description, you'll find the links to all my social media platforms, including the Awaken Your Spirit Subscribe Star platform. Supporters who I appreciate, all my supporters with love and gratitude. This wouldn't be possible without all of their so much gratitude and so much love. It wouldn't be possible. So thank you. with love and gratitude. Also, down below, and when you are looking at my social media links, be aware that you will absolutely never receive a message from me privately on social media platforms. And if you do, or you have some, and I don't go friend people either. So if you receive a friend request or a message from anybody, it is not me. You don't need to email my office and tell me. What you could do to help is just report those profiles because they are scammers that will scam you if you fall into it. And you can't say I haven't been warning you because it's been happening. It happens every day. It's pretty ridiculous, actually. It's pretty annoying. It mainly happens on Facebook and Instagram because Zuck doesn't do anything about it. He probably makes money off of it. That's probably why. He probably gets a cut. Who knows? But be aware, friends. Be aware of the scammers. Also, you'll see my newsletter down below. Sign up for that. It's free. And as they say, if it's free, it's for me. So check it out. And that goes out the beginning of the month or the very end of the month. So people send emails all the time. I don't get your newsletter or whatever. You have to confirm it when you subscribe. And if you only just subscribed after the first of the month, you haven't gotten one yet because we haven't sent another one out yet. You'll get one by the 1st of September. So keep an eye out for it. So other than that, let us move on to episode number 131. Moving up in time. Oh, remember, you can find me on Rumble, including that episode 128 that was blocked. Episode 128, you're going to want to not miss that. That was a good episode. I thought it was. It was so good that they blocked it. So when they block it, you know it's good, baby. You know it's good. So go back. It's on Rumble. It's on Spotify. They let it up, but they didn't let it here for many reasons. Who knows? Craziness is what it is, friends. So friends and tribe, yesterday we were hit with the second tsunami wave of energy of 2024 following yesterday's full moon in the sign of Aquarius, which of course is all about bringing in more of a need for balance, innovation, community, and our freedom, friends. Our freedom is very important, and it's going to be even more important during this window of time. I would expect that there would be something, maybe many somethings huge to come up revolved around our freedoms in the next few weeks. I would have no doubt that something would come up. And again, many somethings. Yesterday's full moon is, of course, encouraging us all to break free from the old patterns and those old kind of repetitive things that we do in our lives. It's time to break free from those patterns, friends, and to embrace progressive change because change is inevitable. Flow with that change because it's all going to benefit you for the greater good. In 2 more days, on the 22nd, that master number date, 22, we have the sun entering Virgo season, and Virgo season kicks in. That's an even more perfect time, friends, than now, because now's a great time for this too, but especially when we hit the 22nd to reorganize. Now, at the time we're in now is all about decluttering and getting rid of, especially means we just had the full moon. The full moon and the waning moon cycle that we just stepped into is all about getting rid of, clearing things. Emotions come up, all kinds of things happen. Sometimes your dreams are intensified and so much more. So it's a perfect time now, but also on the 22nd to reorganize things, as us Virgos like to do. We like to be very neat and very well organized for the most part. So tap into that Virgo virgin energy, friends, to bring some renewal to your organization skills. You'll be glad you did. I've been doing that here for a while. Can't wait to be completely finished, which I plan to be by the end of this month. And then it'll be fabulous. The energy of your home means everything, friends. You have clutter piled up in the corner, you're going to have clutter in parts of your life. So the Virgo energy is also all about adapting and adopting new, healthier habits, especially eating habits, and enhancing your skills. Virgo season makes for the perfect time for us to take a new class or a course, to clean out the basement or the garage, to clean out the closet, or even to come out of the closet if you want. But regardless, it's a great time for all those things. Also, remember that last week on the 14th, we had that intense alignment of Mars in Gemini conjunct Jupiter in Gemini. And as you may know already, the Mars energy can be and will be really intense, bringing out more anger from folks and even more from world leaders. So we have to watch world leaders and getting them angry. We know Putin's really angry right now, the leader of Russia. No doubt about that. So anyone could imagine, getting somebody like that angry is not a really good idea. But he's angry after the Ukraine gained territory in Russia. So expect him, without a doubt. to retaliate in a very, very unexpected way. And I would expect that soon, really soon. A big surprise. That could be what Spirit told us long ago, over a year ago, of them utilizing a weapon that we're not aware of. A newer weapon, or maybe we're aware of it but never seen one used before. Not sure what that is, and it's a scary thought when you think about it. You may also likely have had some issues over the past weekend sleeping. Over the weekend and even last night with these intense energies of the full moon, definitely affects our sleep patterns. It affects everything, which is way more intense than the usual full moons. So that's even going to disrupt you even more so. Being that we have the direct retrograde, Mercury retrograde, and this is the tsunami wave of energy flowing in from now through September 2nd, started yesterday. Again, this makes for a perfect time for you to meditate, connect with your spirituality. Remember, August is a 7 vibrational month, and in the 7 vibrational month, it's all about making deeper connections to the divine, to spirit, to your intuition. So take advantage of this time, friends. Take advantage of it. And it will also challenge your belief systems too, that 7 vibration. And before you know it, by the end of the month, you believe something that you wouldn't have believed before. Also expect there to be much more in the way of communication outages, as I predicted for the monthly forecast in August. And we already have witnessed at the beginning of this month with that largest outage here in the United States. And I remind you what Spirit told us back then, before that happened. We were told only days before it happened, actually, the record-breaking outage, that the global queens, the elite, whatever you want to call them, would be testing the grounds first with their cyber tests with an outage. And days after I stated that, we saw the largest outage rang out across the United States. I think other country was affected. I'm not sure who, but I know we were in this country big time. Again, they called it the biggest outage ever. They call it an outage. We know what it was. They told us it was this or that, and we know exactly what it was, friends, because Spirit told us before it happened. That's why it's good to know predictions and know things before they happen. So when they happen, we're like, oh, well, yeah, Spirit did say that was going to happen exactly that way, but we don't always see it. And it's more powerful when it's said before it happens than like details like behind the scenes after it happens. For example, Spirit telling us what was going to happen in Israel back in September of last year, and then it happened in a way that people still aren't talking about, but Spirit talked about it. Kind of really interesting. So going back to these outages and the record-breaking outage, and the one that happened days later, that was definitely a test, no doubt. Spirit confirmed that. Remember, right after that outage on the Tuesday's Teatime. So Spirit tells me to expect several other tests coming between now and October 1st. We will be far out of the Mercury retrograde post-shadow by then, actually, by October 1st. So they can't blame it on Mercury retrograde. Definitely won't be able to once it happens after, what is it, September 5th or 7th or something like that. We're out of it completely. Spirit shows me shady things going on behind the curtains of Facebook and Instagram. This is interesting, friends. Hold on tight. But what kind of shady stuff exactly? I asked the spirits, what kind of shady stuff, spirits? And they said, besides updating and upgrading their ability to track everyone and everything, but Zuck and his reptilian partners are planning a separate database collection. So they're doing some kind of separate database collection on a combination of people this is concerning, based on political backings, economic purchases, and even grouping you together with friends or neighbors who are in that same category as you. Now, why would they be doing such a thing, friends? We already know they do that on some scale, but this is big, the way Spirit was showing it to me this morning. So do they plan on wiping out all the groups that they don't want to allow freedom of speech, perhaps? Or freedom to back whoever they want to back, or whoever we want to back, and they don't want you to back them, and all of a sudden you disappear? Could that be like the the rapture of social media, where everybody just suddenly disappears off social media? I think I just created a new thing, friends. The social media rapture. That's what we're going to call it, the social media rapture. And they all just disappear, and they take you all away. We'll probably, all of us here today will probably be in that category, so beware, friends. In turn, expect there to be another huge global outage with Facebook and Instagram, both. Spirit says this will allow us the wisdom to know when they launch their new tracking platform. The outage will be a sign of them updating their platform. Something like this is going to make you want to boycott Zuck and his reptilian buddies, huh? And his CIA-backed platform. So still on the subject of communication and power outages, remember, Spirit did inform us that hackers were planning to attack and take down the X platform. They don't like Elon, or they don't like his platform anyway, which we did witness. That happened last week when Musk attempted to interview DT, which ended up being delayed for close to an hour, 40-some minutes or whatever it was, before finally airing. Not to mention the issues that still continued around their audio and their sound, mainly on Trump's end. So someone obviously did not want that interview to succeed, obviously. And they're not going to want other things to succeed in the future as well. Spirit shows me that the same, we're going to call him CIA. CIA. We're going to just call him CIA, so you know who I'm talking about. CIA-backed hackers are going to attempt to take down X platforms several more times, including Truth Social as well. The last hack was more to intrude on their interview, but the next one is going to be to invasively take down X completely. Hackers will only have a short period of lived success, so they'll be successful, but again, only for a short period of time before it's all restored. Some of these CIA-backed and paid hackers are former employees of Twitter, fired by Musk, so also part of their team to go after them. I also see some type of an arrest happening revolved around this, or other cyber attack arrests. So they're going to bust a ring. I'm seeing that now, a vision of that now. They're going to bust a ring of crazies. Is my camera blurry again? Or is it just my vision? It's probably just my vision. No, it's fine. Weird. Anyway. So yeah, I'm having that vision now. Spirit shows me them raiding a building. It looks like a old abandoned warehouse. It might even be in New York. I feel like I'm like in New York or pretty close to like a city just like that, the way I am. Like, I feel like I'm like where the docks are. I'm closer to the water. And it's a pretty big organization that's hiding and housed in one of these old warehouse buildings down below, Spirit says. And they have escape hatches. So some will likely escape. Not all of them, though. It looks like they're all trying in my vision, but no, not all of them. Interesting. I didn't have that vision earlier. Very interesting. So I don't know how that's related or not. It might be a separate kind of thing. And, you know, of course, they're going to find somebody to take the rap for everything. They always find the scapegoat, don't they? Always. To cover up their trails. So I would also... Spirit says, beware young hackers, because they're going to, again, set you up. I also see some type of an arrest happening revolved around not only this, but other cyber attack arrests. And I also feel a young man is going to take the fall for something that he is being set up for. Beware young hackers, says the spirits. They will use and abuse you. Yes, they will. See ya. So I would also expect there to be huge outages for the TikTok, as Spirit shows me similar plans are being made by the same backed hack groups, as I have been warning for some time now. Power outages, which are already happening too, by the way, in places where we warned, like Puerto Rico, our friends there, where they experienced, again, more than 200,000 power outages in all, just in Puerto Rico. And then there was Bermuda on top of that, hit by the same hurricane. What the heck was its name? I forget its name. I just drew a blank. Also, they lost power. Oh, Ernesto. That was it. Ernesto, who left a path of destruction. So, hackers to power outages. So, Those would be power outages, the ones I just mentioned, due to weather events, of course. Weather or earth events, as Spirit said. Many of these big outages that were coming would be weather and earth-related power outages. But what about the power outages from hackers? Being we're on the subject of hackers, keep in mind that Spirit showed me that not all power grids can be hacked, actually. Not all of them. As much as the evil ones wish for all of us to believe that they could all be hacked, they want you to believe this to be the case. But the much larger ones, Spirit said the much larger ones, like the ones in big cities in most California and other big cities, those are different. They can be hacked according to Spirit, but most of the others cannot be hacked, and it would have to be literally an inside attack, which I do see occurring. These people thought this out very well, friends, because I see at least 2 power companies that hired folks with ill intent. 2 big power companies hired folks. I thought it was 2 folks, but no, it's many folks, Spirit says, that plan to be used and activated like a sleeper cell. And I believe that one of these is definitely in New York City, most likely. The others in California, the electric companies. So one's connected to New York, one's connected to California. So big electric companies. So they probably cover several states. I'm not a power company expert. Although these are likely, there might even be more than just those 2. Likely there is. But Spirit showed me that today. I'm like, wow, they infiltrated the power companies. Interesting. So that's why, if they can't hack them all, they need to get somebody in there in place, right? They will fail in the long run. This is a very powerful, real threat, friends, and people don't realize how much of a huge threat this is for all of us. The so-called illuminated ones want this more than anything. They wish to take full power over humanity, and to do so, cut off our power, cut off food, whatever they can do. I mean, these sick people definitely have this in their agenda. All you got to do is pull up their plans. They post them. They have their plan books online. They don't care. They even put it in a book. Klaus Schwab put it in a book. You can read it. The Great Reset, I believe, is the name of his book. But don't read it, though. I mean, you can if you want to. You probably read it for free online. But you can find out everything that's in that book by listening to certain podcasts like here today. So not only that, they want to get rid of as many people as they possibly can. For the less people that there are, the easier it is for them to control. So if you are prepared, not scared, prepared, that gives you and all of us a few steps ahead of their agenda. The more prepared we are, the more they're going to fail. The more you know and the more we wait them out, they're going to fail. And then by then we will enter into the new earth. And earlier this year, I had more of an urgent feeling, more urgent than ever before, to get myself and my home prepared for any case scenarios, basically. The first thing I saved for and got was a small solar generator to power up my freezer so that my food stays good, and my computer, if that'll even work, if we even have internet connections during the global outages. Now, I have Starlink, and I would hope that they have their own power backups, at least for a short time. I'm sure they do. I mean, I have no doubt they probably do. I have an emergency solar radio. They're cheap. I think I pay like $15-20 for it. Get yourself one of them. Solar lanterns that you pop out in the sun, and they are flashlights and lanterns built in one. Several forms of very good protection, very important. Backup propane to cook on the grill, and of course a stash of food to last me maybe at least a month. And I'm going to be getting more food, as I believe it is better to be safe and prepared than it is to be sorry, friends. And then you can't say, I wasn't warned. Better be safe than sorry, like they always say. And food isn't going to go bad. You'll eat it. It's not like you're going to buy something that's going to go to waste. I would hope not. I would hope you would eat it and just rotate it. Rotate your food out. Or get the good survival dry freezed food that lasts a long time. That's the good stuff. But I would advise that you have a plan, as I already do. And that plan might not even be enough. But it's just important. Everyone to come up with their own little plan, just to ensure that you have everything you need in case of any type of emergency. whether it be an earth emergency, an earthquake, and that's what I think. I live in a canyon. If there was an earthquake here, I could be cut off from both ends of getting out. It's only 2 ways out, 2 ways in. It's potentially possible. It's happened before with mudslides here. We were stuck here for a couple days. No big deal. But you never know, friends. Better to be, again, prepared than to run around scared. And remember, I saw a city going dark. Remember that, which we witnessed earlier this month in Paris, France. Well, Spirit shows me another vision. And I had this vision earlier this morning. And it was as if I was flying above the earth. And it seems to be, looking above the earth and the dark half of the earth, the side that's in the darkness, because I see the lit up cities. And then suddenly it appeared to me that either 1/3 or even more likely half of the lights all of a sudden went out. So it wasn't all of them, but it was half in this vision. So darkness is coming, and I warned in the past that this is going to be lasting between 3 days and 3 weeks, depending on where you live. Could even be months in certain places where the infrastructure is really fragile. So be aware, friends. Just be aware. Can't say when it happens and if it happens, which I'm sure will. The timing is just the challenging part and figuring out when. But again, the longer we have to wait for it to happen, the more prepared you should be. But if it happens tomorrow, are you prepared enough to last at least a couple weeks, just in case? And I saw not only that, saw the vision of New York City, remember? So the lights going dark. So darkness is coming, friends, one way or another, and it's important because I also saw in some places or countries, I saw folks relocating in order to access power or getting away. So seems to be in other countries. I don't know which countries. It's like that people are fleeing and leaving because they don't have access to power. So keep in mind that there's good that comes out of this, friends. There's always good that comes from the dark events. And let me just check over here and make sure everything's sounding good over here. I don't see everybody moving. There we go. All right, just checking in on everybody there in the chat room. Oh, wait, let me do 2 things in there. I didn't even look at all these chat caches. Ann, thank you. C, thank you, darling. Thank you, Just Cheeky. Thank you. Well, let me give that a click like. Thank you, Miss Q. Thank you, Miss Q. And thank you. I can't read your name because I don't read Japanese, but thank you. And thank you, Sherry Berry. And thank you, Glittered. Glittered. All right. Back to business. So keep in mind, again, that there's good that does come from these dark events. This is going to force people to be more aware of what's happening and more awake to the truth and the darkness on the planet. That's what it's there for. The darkness that comes is the darkness to keep us in the dark so that we can literally awaken. And when the light comes back, that's when we see everything in a completely different vision. Everything changes. It's going to be amazing, actually. It's just the challenge getting there. And we're all up for a good challenge now, aren't we? Oh, I am. I don't know about everybody else. Not everybody, I guess, is up to a good challenge. But it's good to be up to a good challenge. That's what we came to this earth for. So good things, again, this is going to force people to be more awake and become more grateful for the power that we have, while also opening the world up to all these new resources and sources of power. Not solar power, not windmills, but instead something more closely related to Tesla. Tesla's coil, Tesla's free energy, which is how Atlantis, Lemuria, Mu, ancient Egypt, that they tell us is 3,500 years old, and we know is like 15,000 years old. Besides that, we know they had light bulbs, and then we know they had electricity. And we also know that the Great Pyramid in Egypt was a made power. It was a power generator. No doubt about it. It's been scientifically proven and explained how they made power. And the obelisks all over Egypt were how they reflected the free energy all over. So that needs to come, because that's what the earth is. The earth provides us all the energy. They just don't want you to know that. And they can't hold it from us much longer. Something the government's, they've been holding it from us for many, many generations, stealing all the patents, taking people's lives, or taking them out of the equation completely so they couldn't tell anybody. Yeah, we know all about it, government. We know. We're on to you, government. We're on to you. So as far as power outages in other places, most vulnerable, of course, is going to be the big cities where more chaos would reap out. So, of course, they would take out the cities. They don't care about us people out here in the rural area. Because you come out here, you're going to find yourself coming face to face with a pow. Or maybe in the cities, too. I mean, it doesn't matter. But the cities, more people, more chaos, and that would make more sense. But remember my visions also a few weeks ago. Remember I was standing in Times Square in New York City, and everything went dark. Of course, Chicago is another one, being as I made so many predictions revolved around Chicago. But not only just limited to United States and here, but also the Windy City, Chicago, but Berlin, Germany, Munich, Germany, Paris, France, England, and the list goes on and on. This is how the globalists plan on taking down the banking system, friends. That's why even Klaus Schwab said it during one of his WHO meetings, or WEF meetings, or whatever their meetings are, that the next big concern is going to be a global cyber attack on banks. They tell us what they're going to do before they do it. Every single time, friends. They always do. I'm telling you that. They put everything in our faces, and they tell us everything. You can, again, go find their playbooks right online. Look them up. There's the Agenda 2025. There's the 2030. There's a bunch of them. You can go right on their websites, too, and look it all up. It's pretty creepy. Maybe one day we'll go down that website rabbit hole and together live sometime. Sounds like fun. So remember my vision again, New York City and all these other places. So I don't know how it's all going to play out exactly. But as time progresses, and tune in every week, as you know, we get more information as time progresses. And when past predictions come up again, it's usually because we're closing in on them coming into reality, or we get more details about them. So they definitely plan on taking down the banking system, a system that they already own and control to begin with. That's why they want to take it down, so they can make more money. A very huge shift in the money has happened over the past year, but past few years, and they're shifting it all. And the middle class is pretty much wiped out. That's what they want. That's their goal. They want the peasants and the kings and queens. That's all they want. And, they're going to fail in the long run. So, is a mass exodus upon us? Because this next topic is certainly not for the faint at heart, friends. FYI. Don't say I didn't warn you. Because at least 2, more likely 3 years ago, Spirit informed me. I think it was in my yearly, predictions for the year, which air on New Year's Day. And I forget how long ago. It was a couple years ago, at least 2 years ago. I'm thinking more like 3 years ago, that there was going to be a large amount of humans opting out around the same short period of time, or within the same year, for example. I may have even made that prediction back in 2019 or 2020. It might have been that far back. And as you know, some predictions, again, play out quickly, and then others do not play out so quickly. It was 2017, and I saw people wearing masks. So 3 years later, it happened. So I'm not sure, but again, Spirit did tell us that there was going to be a large amount of people all exiting at the same time. Well, around the same time, not at the same exact time. Some of them could be. And then I thought, as we saw the UKR's conflict kick in, and then the Israel conflict and all these conflicts happening, that, hey, perhaps it's related to that. And then not even that, all the earthquakes last year, where we saw thousands of people unalived in earthquakes. Each one, like the one, I forget where they all were, but we had the one in Turkey. And we had the one in, was it Africa? There were so many last year that literally claimed so many people's lives. That was major. This year, we kind of got off light so far. That's just leading us up to one big, giant one that's going to account for all the ones that happened last year. I'm thinking if it isn't this month, then October is the next point to look at, as Spirit warned us, and then the month of December as well, as we go into that last energy shift. But as we come out of this cycle, too, I've noticed that, especially this year, It's not always the 2-week energy shift cycle that we see the major events. It's when we come out of it, I noticed this year that we're seeing the bigger events happen. So that would be early September. Not that that has to do with the mass exodus and such. But so that were my thoughts. Maybe it was the earthquakes, the conflict starting out. But that's still not really much. Because if you go by what they told us 2020's exodus was, nothing's beat it yet, right? There hasn't been that many people since 2020 that have left and ended their soul contracts. And it was after that Spirit told us that was happening. It was after 2020. So actually, yeah, maybe it was 2021 that I saw a lot of people leaving. And then many of you ask, oh, well, is that the rapture? I don't believe that's the same at all. Because this is what Spirit showed me is people in their soul contracts. It is this move from the earth plane back home to the heavenly realms. Not, where they might, I don't know where they believe the rapture people are going to go. I would think that if they're going to heaven, God's taking them, I would think they're all going to pass away. That would be my mass rapture. I mean, that would make more sense. And then we also talked about the rapture being the star people that come and take away the chosen ones, as the Hopi natives believe. And believed happened during the last great flood. So going back to this, and the complete ending of soul contracts is what this would be. Your end date. We all have an end date in our soul contract. Some of us have multiple, depending on what paths we choose in our life path. Large amounts of people in a short amount of time. And I believe, again, this could be the Christian's version of the rapture. And they're taking it the wrong way and not realizing that that's what the Bible is actually describing. A mass exiting of souls, all going, of course, to heaven. And this is going to lead me up to my friend's dream. So hold on tight, friends. Because it appears that the WHO is putting out all kinds of concerns and fears about global outbreaks. We have all kinds going on. Wait, let me pull this up. Didn't even realize this. So we have all kinds of things going. We got the bird bug. Right, we got the bird bug. We got this one going on now. Oh, yeah. Then we got, what's the other one? We got this one. Public health emergency. Then we got the 2020 bug, and now they're saying that there's variants that are could be worse. This is the last thing I read about. Spirit said don't take it so seriously at all. But at the same time, take seriously an outbreak. But just not that one of the variants. Spirit said don't be concerned about those. And always, again, wash your hands and beware. We are going into flu season in a couple months before you know it. So is there a plan to drop something on humanity? Or, could that be the biochemical kind of threats that Spirit mentioned? Could that be kind of connected to it? Because we already believe many people where that 2021 came from. So is there a plan? I mean, no doubt there is, but why would I say that? And what would make me think of that? Well, we have to look at the prophecy first, friends. We have to look at the prophecy like that of the book of Revelation. Where it also warns of future plagues and bugs. Says it, which we did see, again, somewhat in 2020. So there is no doubt, friends, that we know for a fact at this point that the evil illuminated ones wish for half of humanity to no longer exist. They've said it. Less people, again, as I said earlier, the more easier it is to control you. So we have videos, and even I don't have any today. I didn't look for any. But one of the popular videos is Ted Turner, who is the mass media billionaire owner of a lot of media. Fox, I think he owns all of them, or a lot of them, or he did. I don't know if he still does. He owns Turner Broadcasting Network. And he's on video saying it. It's too many people. They need to go. There's many of them that say it in the elite illuminated one circle. There's way too many people, they say. Who are they to say that? Who are they to make that judgment? And look what's happening in China after, their one baby rule or whatever their rule was. They're paying for it now. We also know all about the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones, which laid out their plans of the global elite right on the table for the world to read. When they realized that this was going to end up being evidence against them in the future, they decided to destroy the stones with some fake media story and a boom boom. And this was something I predicted was going to happen. I was the only one that predicted that was going to happen, to my knowledge. Several months before in a Teatime episode, I said they are going to destroy the Georgia Guidestones and the evidence of their agenda. We also heard many recently speak of a coming event that would be, again, worse than 2020. We heard Gates say that. I think it was Gates that said that. So it was the WEF that spoke this and also stated that there would be a massive, again, global cyber attack. So how do they know, friends? How do they know? Well, they probably hired the hackers, of course. Their hackers work for them. Gates, again, spoke of another bug worse than 2020. So what will that be? A bug? What will it be? A bug or a cyber attack? Or both? Because cyber attacks are kind of like bugs too, right? So how about both? Remember, Spirit warned us of a time and events and told us that everything is accelerating on our planet right now. We were just told that in the past month or two, early July, I believe it was, that things are about to accelerate quicker and that soon we were going to be hit with one thing after another. I also remind you that 2025 is a 9 universal year in numerology. How do we come up with that? Simple. You add the 5 plus the 2 plus the 0 plus the 2, and it comes up to 9. It is a 9 universal year. That is the year of endings. That is the year of death of cycles. It is, the 9 represents literally death in its representation. The death card of the tarot cards and even of people. So to me, that's significant only because of what Spirit told me back in 2017, 2025. Spirit pointed to 2025. And actually, I think it might have even been 2016, but 2025 to 2032. So something's happening in 2025 that we're still struggling through till 2032 or repairing ourselves or healing. That'd be a better word, healing ourselves from. So something's definitely coming, friends. My feeling, as I've been saying since January, is to first keep an eye on the month of October, friends. October is always a reflection of next year. So for the world, October is going to be a reflection for the whole 2025. And that's you personally, too. What we witness and what we experience in the month of October is always what the coming year has in store for us. October 2nd, so also go back to that. That's why I'm going to take more days off and take some travel days in October purposely to promote that for next year. So I'm able to do more of that next year. You should do the same. Make October a great month for yourself personally. At the same time, watch what's happening in the world because that's going to show us what next year is going to bring. And if you go back to last year when Spirit started telling us about the economy collapsing and everything else, I pointed to the month of October. Now, also on October 2nd, we have the final eclipse. We have one September 18th and one on October 2nd. October 2nd is also a date that popped out at me about a week or so ago. It just kept jumping out. Spirit kept saying October 2nd, October 2nd. I'm like, okay, what's October 2nd? I went and looked at the calendar, and that's when I realized it was the new moon and the eclipse. Powerful eclipse. Well, they all are. Always are. They all and always are. So it's the final eclipse of 2025. And I feel something huge can occur on October 2nd. So if you recall, it was October of 2019 that we first heard of the 2020 bug. Just a thought, friends. We heard of the 2020 bug in October of 2019 initially. And then it was the turn of the year, and then March, came lockdown. And the date, I forget what that date was, but that date was in my predictions, and that's when we heard that we were all, national, world, global lockdowns. Interesting, to say the least. So again, keep in mind that as dark as some of these future events appear to be, friends, there is always good that's going to prevail in the long run. Maybe even in the short run. Maybe not in the long run. Some of it will be good that prevails in the short run. Lots will happen and lots is going to need to happen and needs to happen to truly awaken people to the evil agenda and the evil that resides on our planet. That we continue to fight with the beautiful white light, baby. We, the light keepers, will fight the darkness and win. So always remember that we all have soul contracts, friends. and filing cabinets, literally filing cabinets of agreements that you come into this life with. And there's many different crossroads in our lives where we can go this way or that way, which determines what filing cabinet we move to next. Oh, so you're going to leave that filing cabinet. We're going to move you to this filing cabinet. And that's your soul contract. It's very complex, very detailed. And all of us have returned to this lifetime right now to experience these current cycles on the planet and what is about to come on our planet, because it's like historic. It's universally historic. So not only are we, making history on the earth, but we're making history in the whole universe, friends. That's big. That's why we've seen all the spaceships and our galactic brothers and sisters watching what's happening. And they can't wait to be around witnessing it. And they're up there. You just don't see them. They can cloak themselves, but they're up there. The good ones, and unfortunately the bad ones. So we have these soul contracts, and in turn, many people have agreed that when we get to a certain point of intensity, that they shall choose to exit. And those of us who stay here, we've chosen to continue the fight. A fight, again, in which we are going to rise up as the champions, joining together in community and rebuilding the new earth. It's going to be quite interesting and quite exciting. Again, it's just a challenging road we got to drive down to get there, or run down to get there. Watch you don't trip and fall in that pothole. So my buddy had another dream. A wild dream. We talked about some of his dreams and interpreted them. Like one of them was about the two flags flying, American flags, and him folding them up with his wife like it was a memorial. And then all of a sudden it turned into a blanket, a quilt, which would be like a memorial quilt. And that's why I looked, two flags only fly at Citizens Bank Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where tomorrow night Bruce Springsteen will be playing. And again on, what's tomorrow? And Friday night as well. Just saying, born in the USA. Remember, they were just trying to attack Taylor Swift concerts, which was specifically in my predictions back on December 26th. I played it on Friday's live, or Thursday I did a live last week, at the end of the week. I played it on there to clip. I'm not going to play it today. So anyway, my buddy's dream allowing me to share. So I thank JM for allowing me to share this once again. So I don't know what's going to happen. I hope nothing happens at Citizen Bank Center. And I don't know. That's just us trying to put the pieces together and interpret it. Just kind of made sense when you kind of look directly at something. So hopefully that's completely 500% wrong. Completely wrong. Now the new dream comes. The new dream. So at the same time, hold Citizens Bank Park in Philadelphia in the light, friends, that it's all positive. And if anybody with the intent to be harmful is instantly caught and arrested by the police. Policia. So remember the dream of the two flags. And now his recent dream last night on the full moon, too, may I add, to top off the intensity of this. I'm going to give you the basics of his dream. So basically in this dream, I'm giving you the basics. It sounds much better when he does it. But in this dream, he saw all these webs, what looked like webs to him, spider webs. And one of them was so absolutely perfect that it was like a sacred cathedral. I forget which one he said, but like a sacred cathedral, almost like Notre Dame or something. And he said it was just a perfect arch and perfectly beautiful. And then he realized, and then he saw a bird that was just floating in the air. And that's actually the first thing he told me. He's like, I see this bird. So he saw the bird first, I believe, then the webs, which weren't necessarily webs, but I'll get to that in a moment. This bird just floating there. And I just texted him before we went live to ask him what kind of bird. And he said the crow or the raven, I believe, which is black, the color black, darkness. But in shamanic work, the raven or the crow, they're both the same family, are sacred magical beings. So when I do shamanic journey, the crow takes me to different masters and descending masters in the underworlds or upper worlds for different magic or different magical things. So potions, all kinds of cool stuff. Shamanic journey is pretty awesome. So he saw that first. The bird wasn't moving. It was just there floating. And then he saw the cathedral webs. Then he noticed that there weren't no spiders. Long story short, I can't explain it as good as he did, so I'll just sum it up very quickly. So basically, what he was really seeing is a dimension. He wasn't seeing spider webs. He was seeing between the earth dimension and the other dimension, more specifically the heavenly realm. Something with Jesus came into, I'm pretty sure he said something with Jesus came into it. And then he knew it was like the gateway, sort of like a gateway to heaven. It was letting us know, or letting him know that they are, and he saw the angels, something to do with some of the angels. And basically, they were showing him that these gates, this heavenly realm, is right here on the earth, of course. And they are at the gates waiting for this. And then he saw himself, he saw all these people. He was crossing all these people over into this cathedral. All these people. So he saw, again, a mass exodus, basically. And again, letting everybody know that, in my opinion, his dream confirms and validates, first of all, previous predictions of large amounts of soul contracts ending in a shorter period of time. Spider webs, but no spiders, right? Why? Well, because it wasn't really necessarily spider webs as much as it was him literally seeing another dimension and seeing that dimension's right here, and we might see it as a web. But I also took it as the web of light because it was all golden and bright and light. And we have the web of light and the web of darkness. I learned that from Peru and ayahuasca and Mama Spider. Not even that, I knew that before that. But Mama Spider showed me that humanity was caught up in the web of darkness. She cut me out of that web and told me that I was a spider like her, and I was here to spin a web of light over that web of darkness that's slowly being dismantled. So that was his web of light, again, in the entrance from this world to the heavens, with Jesus, the angels, and what have you, and all these people crossing over. Very, very fascinating. Dude has some wild dreams. Bro, you got some wild dreams. And he stated that there was the bird floating over top. So he interpretation, which I would totally agree with his interpretation, is that is the symbol of the bird flu. What else could it be? I mean, it makes total sense. It was just there floating. And the Raven's all about magic and magical realms and accessing magical realms, come to think of it. And he was accessing the magical realm between here and heaven with all the divine spirits, the angels, and so forth. Kind of wild, don't you say? So I take it as a symbol of the bird flu. The architecture, and this is the message that he gave me for all of you. The architecture of heaven is right next to us, but we just do not see it. The gates are open and the angels are already preparing. So they know exactly what is about to come. Found that interesting and kind of heartwarming or something like that. So do you happen to recall the video I did years ago, a video that was blocked for whatever reason about the Deagle report? I think I said that right, the Deagle report. The Deagle report was basically, and I did this video years ago, back in 2020, I think I did it. It's not there anymore, by the way. You can assume why. So the Deagle report shows this whole, some type of the large amount of population dropping off just in a 1 year period of time. Mainly millions of Americans and Europeans, not the whole world, but mainly, again, Europeans and Americans. So, and again, we talked about this years ago, back in 2020 on this channel. So ever since then, of course, these reports that were on their website no longer are there, but we can find those reports. And basically it shows population growth of the future. So, and I just happen to have them here for you, friends. I just happen to have them here for you. So before I go to that, I want to just mention this here. The growing crisis in Africa. And people thinking that this might be the next big thing. The world, pandemic or what have you. I don't believe or feel that that's the case at all. As I told you on my live last week, I wouldn't take that at all as being a concern. Remember also Spirit showed me we were going to be forced to not feed the birds anymore, because I feed the birds. Every morning I'm out there feeding my birds, my squirrels, my chipmunks, and my woodpeckers. Yes, indeed. Love my little animals. Spirit said there was going to be a point. Now that would make even more sense. I was talking to my buddy today, and I was like, that kind of makes sense. That it would be connected to the bird and to the flu. Makes a whole total lot of sense. Or at least that's going to be what we're going to be told. And I don't know, people are going to automatically assume that they dropped it on us or what have you, which is potentially possible. It's in the prophecies, though. It's in the prophecies, and this H1N1's been around since the Obama administration, if you remember. Going way back, they were killing all the birds. So, let's go back to this map. The Deagle report. Where is it? I know I put them all here for you. Here's one right here. There you go. This is, let me open it up on my end so that I can see it, because I can't see it. Hold on. You can see it, though. You can see it and read it until my slow computer, opens it up. Darn. Why are you not opening? I got a better one for you anyway. Oh, there we go. Which one's which? Let's see. I got that one. That one. Which one did I give you? Wait, I need to put my grandpa glasses on. Hold on. Where are my glasses? I don't know where they went. They're probably in the living room. Oh, well. Let me blow this up. So you can see all the different countries. Oh, you don't see it. Sorry, let me put it back up. You see all the different countries here. And if you look towards the... shoot. Why are you doing this to me, computer? Because it's Mercury retrograde and we want to do it to you. So I think you're looking at the one that says New Zealand at the top. It shows population in 2017 and then the population in 2025. Showing that it dropped by, 1.1 million people in New Zealand drop between then and 2025. Then you'll see other countries. Look at Norway. Norway dropped from 5 million down to 3.8 million. Where'd all those millions of people go, friends? Where'd they go? They all went to the sale at Benson's Furniture. Oh, shoot, I lost my thing again. I got too many things opened at one time. Look at this one. Oh, that's the one with New Zealand. Sorry, I had the wrong one up. I can see that, and you see Norway, and you see that one. Now, let me show you the third one. And you can always just go back and hit the pause button and pause it and look at them for yourself. Or you could just go pull them up on the internet yourself. It's not hard to do. Just look up the 2025 Deagle report, and you'll see for yourself. Here is the other one. Which, again, doesn't seem to want to open on my computer, but we have here. What do we have here? We have Singapore. Singapore drops by 500,000. But that's not really the really concerning one. I'm going to show you the one, and I'm going to show you actually what it looked like. I don't know where this came from, if somebody did this one, but there's one that comes directly from their website right there. The old website. People took screenshots of this. And you'll see at the top, China. And you'll see in the red how in the red is where the population went down. Whereas the green arrows, the population goes up. And again, this is between 2017 and 2025. So China's population goes down by only 30 million. That's not many. Not many at all. But it's still 30 million. Compared to their 1.3 billion population. India goes up in goes up. Russia goes down by 1 million. Not very much. But let me show you where it gets even a little more concerning. Oh, wait. Let me go back to that. Sorry. I did have the right one. See, as you go down to United States of America. Currently 326 million citizens. They're saying in 2025, it's only going to be 99 million. So where is the other 230 million people in the United States going? Brazil, you see a drop in Brazil by 23 million people. You see a drop in Russia again, only by the million. Go down here to South Korea, we see them drop by what, 11, 12 million? But then you see Pakistan rises. Brazil rises. India rises. Iran down by 1 million. Don't you find that to be very strange, friends? Very, very strange. And where is I thought France. Oh, there you go. France down by 27 million people. Canada down by 9 million people. Where are they all going, friends? Where are they all going? And, this became such a big controversy that they, of course, took it off their website. Here's a couple others. We have Turkey here. Turkey, they're saying, is going to go down by 8 million. We have Egypt going up quite a bit, actually, by 7 million. Nigeria goes down. Germany, look at Germany. They put you're like United States. Most of you are gone. You go from 80 million down to 28 million. Wow. Crazy, friends. So what do you think that's all about? Leave your comments down below and let me know what you think about that there Deagle report. Deagle. Where did they even get that name from? It's not there anymore. Again, you got to kind of look for people that took screenshots and posted on social media. I think I found those on X, actually. But I searched it first, and it took me to the X platform. I have them on my old computer, but I can't access my old computer because it crashed and I never got it fixed. So since that map is showing us, that they have literally deleted not only the map, but more than half of Americans. Like 3/4 of the Americans. So it seems that when you look at it, it's really concerning. The report showed United States and Europe with a relatively normal growth until the year 2025. And then all of a sudden it just drops. Where it shows the following major drops in population were many countries. There were many, Canada, as you saw, parts of Europe, while others grew in population, which doesn't just quite make sense. You would think they'd all drop in population. What did they know when they published that years ago that they're not telling us? Because now they obviously took it down. Is it related to a bug? Is it related to a conflict? I mean, what are they thinking? Spirit says it's wishful thinking on their behalf, not to worry about it. But again, I do tell you, 2025 is a year of endings and death of cycles. So expect there to be endings. And I would take that as a good thing too. Because in order for us to go into the new systems and the new earth, the other old systems need to collapse and they need to die. They need to go bye-byes. So bye-byes. Speaking of bye-byes, on my live last week, when I did live Thursday or Friday, I forget what day I did that. Thursday, I'm pretty sure it was Thursday. But regardless, if you missed it, go back and watch it. And if you did watch it, you heard me talk about New Zealand now making it mandatory for certain things. And people were like, I live in New Zealand. I didn't hear that. I don't believe that. Blah, 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 blah. So I'm just going to show you where I got it from. I don't know how true it is. Some people confirmed it in the comments from New Zealand, but others weren't able to confirm it. So therefore, I decided to put this little piece together for you.
Here is the article right here, and you can read it for yourself. New Zealand legalizes forced V's. Refusers to be tied to their beds and forcibly inject with it. You know what it is. Can you imagine a dystopian world in where the white coats are allowed to strap people down and force them to take whatever they want? I'm not going to say it, as you know, whatever poisons the government says the public needs at any given time. Such a world now exists in New Zealand, which just enacted legislation legalizing the use of physical force in order to V. Yep, friends, you have it. You saw it here. Dr. Jonathan Engler tweeted a screenshot below. There's the screenshot below right there. You can read it for yourself without me saying it, but our friends in New Zealand, when I talked about this on my live on Friday or Thursday, whenever I went live last, folks in New Zealand weren't aware of it. Now you are, friends. Now you are.
Kind of creepy, friends. Kind of creepy. New Zealand. That's where all, the elite are building their bunkers. Because wasn't it Edgar Casey that said that would be a safe zone? Somebody in the prophecy said that would be the safest place to be. I disagree personally. And, all you got to do is go to the land that Bill Gates is buying up all over the United States, because he's going by the maps. He's actually going by the maps and buying the land that appears above the waters. That should be telling you something too, friends. So speaking of floods and things, weather and floods in the realm of crazy weather and earth events, we witnessed several predictions coming into reality, starting with the hurricanes and spirits warnings to our friends in Puerto Rico. Our friends in Puerto Rico who were slammed followed by Bermuda, causing more than, again, hundreds of thousands of power outages. And I bet you they still don't have power in some of those places. Remember, Puerto Rico still was recovering from the 2017 Hurricane Maria and still wasn't up to par with their infrastructure. All that money they sent to the Ukraine, billions and billions, they could have fixed Puerto Rico's infrastructure. They could have fixed everything. They could have got most of the people, if not all of them, off our streets. The vets and all of them. Oh, it just annoys me so much, friends. So going back to our friends who were slammed, we're also seeing the warnings from Spirit for New York. Remember New York City? It's not New York City, but Long Island's close enough to New York City. Floods hitting Long Island. I didn't get any video clips for you. Like I said, I was very, very busy. But what about New York City itself? Spirit showed me visions, not only the power outage that I saw in my visions a week or two ago at Times Square in New York City, but I also had visions of major storm, and Spirit's reminding me of this. And I think this was in my channel predictions, actually, but I remember having the vision of me standing out by Ellis Island, where the Statue of Liberty is, and I remember the darkness coming. I just remember the winds whipping up, and it felt to me like a direct hit by something huge. So I would expect, if that's not coming this year, I would think it would be coming this year. We're still got prime hurricanes yet to come, friends. Prime hurricanes yet to come. We're not even partially through the list yet. Barely partially through the list. We're only on Ernesto, letter E. That's not far, friends. There's a lot more to go. And just again, wait till next year. Next year will be ruthless. The weather is going to be ruthless in 2025. So in the realm again of craziness with all this, New York City's definitely going to get a direct hit. People in New York City should be extremely prepared. I even see incidences where some of the big windows, even though they're supposed to be secure, Spirit says, I know nothing about that, but Spirit says they're supposed to be secure, but I see windows popping out or windows being blown out or popped out in some of the high-rise buildings in New York City. So remember, in August forecast, Spirit told us that water was going to be a huge focus, that this would include floods, boating incidences, and drownings. And we just saw quite a few drownings that just happened over the weekend. Folks being pulled out and pulled under the ocean from riptides on the east coast of the United States. I'm sure it's happening in other places, but that Ernesto really stirred up the water is really good. So we saw a boat of tourists flip in Sicily, ending several folks' soul contracts completely. And now, to make it even more interesting and exciting, we have the rare and the infamous Oarfish. The Oarfish that was reported washing on the surface of California. You all know about the Japanese folklore. They say it's folklore. Around the Oarfish. When the Oarfish, a very, very deep sea living creature, washes to the surface, a great disaster, usually an earthquake, will follow. So is this a sign for California? Is California about to get a biggie? Well, check out this about the Oarfish first. Check it out.
Incredibly rare Dead Sea serpent surfaces in California waters, just one of 20 since 1901. This was just put out on the 16th of August, a couple days ago. Look at the size of that fish. I wish the video would play. I don't know why it won't, but that's a beautiful fish, friends. Beautiful. I love nature. Amazing. Nothing marks the sign of impending doom like the appearance of the elusive Oarfish, according to Japanese folklore. Hopefully it's just a myth, since one just recently was found floating in the Southern California waters for only the 20th time in nearly 125 years. According to a team of sciencey kayakers and snorkelers who found the dead sea serpent while they were out for a swim at La Jolla Cove in San Diego over the weekend. Very interesting, to say the least. Only 20 oarfish have washed up in the state since 1901, making the sighting of the deep-sea fish incredibly rare, according to Scripps in-house fish expert Ben Frabel. Oarfish are an omen of impending disaster, Japanese folklore says. The belief is that the sight of an oarfish in shallow waters is an omen of an impending earthquake that dates back to the 17th century Japan, according to a reporting by Atlas Obscura. The fish, also known as Ryugu-nasuke, I probably butchered that, were believed to be serpents of the sea god Ryujin. I probably butchered that as well, according to Japanese folklore. It is believed that this is a messenger of the sea from God's palace, and that they were sent from the palace towards the surface to warn people of earthquakes, according to USA Today's reports. There were multiple sightings of the fish reported ahead of the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and Fukushima nuclear disaster. But there is no scientific evidence to suggest that the two serpents or events are at all connected to the oarfish, according to a professor at some university in Japan. And again, look at that fish. Boy, that feed a lot of people. Wonder if it's tasty. Probably not. Or we would actually probably see it on our shelves by now. Very interesting. I want to know what you think in the comments below. Kind of interesting, huh? That fish is huge, man. Look at the size of that thing. Just imagine, I think it'd be so cool to go down in the deep seas of the ocean and check out all that magic down there. That'd be cool. It'd be very cool. So the rare and infamous oarfish, is a warning, as you heard, that there's a incoming earthquake disaster. Now, for some reason, I don't remember the details, but for some reason, I feel like one washed up somewhere about a year ago. Was it in Japan? Or was it in California? And from what I recall, nothing happened. I could be remembering completely incorrectly. But I feel like I remember reading a story. Maybe it was 2 years ago. And maybe it was Japan, but I don't remember anything ever happening after that. Excuse me. And, when did that oarfish wash up? How many days ago? Because we did see the big quake that happened in Russia. But at the same time, this isn't Russia. It's supposed to happen where it washes up. And it washed up in California. California's got lots of pending dooms coming. It's in the prophecies. And, when I tell people, it's kind of funny that I feel that this big earthquake's going to hit California within the next year or so. People are like, they've been saying that for years. They've been saying that, and the old people, they've been saying that since I was a kid. I'm like, yeah, well, I'm saying it now because it's going to happen soon. There's a difference. I haven't been saying it for 10 years or however, decades, I would say. Because the old people say it. People in their 70s. They've been saying that since I was a kid. Well, that was 50, 60 years ago. I wasn't here to say it then. And I've only just started saying it because I got that feeling. We got the dreams happening so much. And remember what I said in my forecast for 2024, which I think I actually released. I released a bunch always at the end of the year and the beginning of the new year. I saw humanitarian aid being called to Japan, and I saw that in the United States as well. And I saw big concerts taking place for humanitarian aid. Don't let the Clintons in on it. They'll come and steal all the money like they did to the people in, where was that? Haiti. Sorry, I just bumped you, baby. Make sure I didn't mess you up. Everything's still good out there in La La Land. Did I miss anybody here in my fan funding? Did I say thank you to Kim? I think I did. And Glittered? Yeah, I did. Thank you for your chat cash. And you know what?
I bet you, because I know so well, I'm psychic. So I'm going to say thank you, Sandra G, for your PayPal love and support. Where was I? So in my past weather predictions, a place that I warned was Russia, of course, and off the coast of Russia. We saw the major earthquake, and right near the Pacific. I should have brought up a picture of that for you. Also in my visions of a volcanic blast. Well, I didn't see any video of that. I didn't really look. I've been so busy. There was apparently a volcanic blast and an earthquake, both right at the same time or simultaneously back to back in Russia. And part of it was right off the coast in the Pacific Ocean. If you look at the map, it's really like that row of volcanic islands that split between Russia and Alaska. So that's all very active area. That's like the top of the ring of fire. So very, very active area. I don't know what the history of that volcano's eruptions are. But remember what Spirit told us, that we would see, I got to remember exactly what Spirit said. Can you remind me, Spirits, please? I can't remember everything. That we would see two major volcanic eruptions simultaneously. And then there would kind of nearby each other, not far from each other. And then a third one a little distance away. And that would be a sign of the massive quake that's coming. And we're talking a 9.0, friends. And there's going to be more than one between now and especially next year, 2025, but also as we approach the turn of the century at 2029, when we see the comet Apophis coming close to Earth and everybody's outside looking at it. So that's the whole shift. That's the prophecies. That's the Hopi's Blue Star Kachina prophecy coming into fruition. I did a great video on that, whole documentary type video on the Hopi's Blue Star Kachina. The video is called, I don't even know what is it called. I think it's called The Great Purifier. That's the name of it, The Great Purifier, because they also refer to it as the Great Purifier coming to purify the earth. Sounds familiar. Sounds similar to some of the predictions or prophecies in the book of Revelation. So we have so much. Not only that, we saw the powerful quake. Where was the other one at? Let me bring up my earthquake map. Hold on. How long have we been here for, friends? How long have I been here? Does it ever tell me on here? It doesn't tell me. I'm sure it does somewhere. I just don't see it. Well, let's pull up the earthquake map anyway. You're not going to be able to see it, but earthquake map. There it is. Can't remember where the other one was. So it's driving me crazy, so I'm going to bring up the map and look at it while I talk to you. You can bring it up on your computer too. Just go to the usgs.gov. Or you can go directly to earthquake.usgs.gov. And the last one that you'll see there in the red is the one in Russia. I know a few weeks ago, someone in the comments was like, you're wrong. The red means it happened within the last hour. Well, guess what? The Russia one is in red, and that happened a few days ago. Red is the ones that have the bigger shakings on the USGS map. FYI. And another thing I do when I go to the USGS map is I click on the settings and I change it to 4.5 and higher over the last 7 days. But actually, let me actually change that anyway. And make it 2.5 or higher in the past 7 days. And when you look at it, the 4.5 or higher, it looks like there's nothing on United States pretty much. But then when you look at it with the 2.5s or higher, you look at all the activity down around California. And even Texas. Texas is lighting up like a lighthouse. Not only that, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico just gets hit one after another. And the Spirit's showing Puerto Rico is going to get a great shaking within the next few months. A great shaking to the southern point of Puerto Rico. So Papua New Guinea just had a 5.0. They're always having major stuff happen in Papua New Guinea. I don't see any in red. Oh, there it is. This one. Oh, yeah, Russia. That happened on the 17th, 3 days ago. 2 days before the full moon kicked in. That's the last one. And then actually, look, Beaver, Alaska. Where's that? Alaska's been lighting up a lot too. So yeah, that's that whole row of islands right there, friends. If you go and look at the map for yourself, I wish I could show you this. You'll see the row of islands all very active. That very top part of the Ring of Fire. Extremely. And even more so is the other side of the world. Let me change this to 7s. There we go. Yeah, look at that. Philippines. I've warned the Philippines before the strong potential for a tsunami. And the Philippines come to my mind again. Let me pull that up the terrain. There we go. And I feel like something big is brewing. Somewhat, sort of, between Hawaii and where... Oh, shit. This darn thing. Excuse me. Oh, sugar. Between where that quake just happened in Russia, it's that little piece of land that comes down there in Russia, right off the edge on the Pacific, the northern Pacific. So between there and Hawaii, if you draw a line there, halfway between is where I feel like this big, remember Spirit showed me visions of the bottom of the Pacific splitting open and sending that wave of water and the ripples all directions. So I would feel I'm pulled between those two places. Closer to the Russia point of that earthquake than to Hawaii. But if you were to go to the halfway point, drawing a line, and then go up maybe a little bit more, which would really affect Japan and the Philippines. So I get pulled there, and then also right off of not far from the coast of Japan and the Philippines, in the Tropic of Cancer. I feel something stirring really, really, really strong right there, right down there in the Tropic of Cancer. Right along the edge. That's where I feel like a big one's happening. Oh, Guam. I didn't know that's where Guam was. Sometimes I'm geographically challenged. Why does the United States own Guam? It's all the way the heck on the other side of the world. Hogs. The United States always got to hog everything up for themselves now, don't they? So moving right along. So yes, there is definitely something major on our doorsteps. But Canada, our friends in Canada, that just popped in my brain. Let me go back to the map. Spirit's yelling to me, Canada. Oh, right up there near Vancouver again. Oh, yeah, okay. So that whole area right up there near Vancouver and right above Vancouver Island, where I predicted there would be some earthquakes a couple month or so ago, and they did have them all. I'm getting pulled up there again, a little bit higher than that. So what is this here? Do we have a name for this? What's that little island above that? Above Vancouver Island. Someone will tell us in the comments. But right off the edge of there, out to sea, maybe 20 miles out to sea. So that could definitely bring some big waves to Portland, Seattle. Well, not Seattle itself, 'cause Seattle's in a little bit further, but to that direction. Waves towards that direction. Between now, this month, and October. Remember, we only just went into that energy shift yesterday, friends. Only just yesterday. So lots more to come. So we have the DNC happening. And last week, because some people in other countries don't know what the DNC is. So I said it was the Devil's National Convention. And somebody got all mad in the comments, of course. Oh, how dare you say that? Well, if it makes you feel any better, the RNC is the Reptilians National Conference. No matter what, they're both pretty awful if you ask me. The DNC is happening in Chicago. And as I predicted, of course, we're seeing major protests and protesters breaking through gates is what they showed us in the media yesterday. Because they want us to see that, of course. So is law enforcement going to let them break in like they did to the building Capitol? Here, come on in. Welcome. Do what you want. This is what I find to be really concerning about this, is the fact that they have put up decontamination pods, little pods around the DNC, wherever it's being held in Chicago. I forget what building it's in, but all around there they have these decontamination pods to decontaminate in case of a biochemical threat. They didn't have them at the RNC. How come the reptilians didn't have them, but the devils do? I'm sorry, that just cracks me up. But why? Why do they get to have them and the other people don't get to have them? Why are they expecting something? Well, of course they're going to tell you there's threats of this, but why are there threats at that one and not at the other one? It just makes no sense to me. You know, because the protesters are protesting the same silliness. You know, the pro people. It's the same thing over and over, repetitively. So I don't quite get it. And will there be? I don't feel like necessarily that, but we know something big's coming to Chicago, whether it's this week or whether it's later, but it's definitely coming. Lots of things are coming. And remember my vision, Spirit's showing it to me again. I see a vision of I'm standing on the street of the city and I see a building and I literally see the window, the whole level blow out. Boom, fire. I see it all blow out and I hear all the car alarms going off. Beep, 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 beep. And then I hear another one, but I don't see where the other one is. And then I hear a third one. That's new. See, when Spirit gives us stuff, repeat stuff, I get new stuff or more information. I hear 3, but I only see the one. So the other two must be nearby, but not in the direction that I'm facing. One feels like it might be behind me. I feel a rattle to my right as I'm looking towards the first building that I see below. Now, I don't know when or how this is occurring, but I saw this a while back, a few months ago, I guess, I would assume. But I'm seeing more information about that. Beware, be alert. And Spirit says they're already trying to take out the power in Chicago. So who's they? The actual radicals, not the globalist radicals, but the actual radicals, people that just want to be destructive and harmful, are already trying to figure out something. Oh, this reminds me of another vision I had in the past. Remember I saw the van, the truck that was loaded with something with boom booms in it, driving through a fence of a power generator or a power place. I forgot all about that. That was a while ago I saw that vision. That might have been 2 years ago. Interesting. Are we approaching that time where all these events, remember Spirit said an acceleration in time and space is happening. Oh, baby, it's happening. Let's move right along. Oh, I lost my spot. Thank you, Sherry Berry, again, and thank you, Tina, for your chat cash. I greatly appreciate you with love and gratitude, you beautiful souls, you beautiful souls. I've been here for an hour and a half. I should wrap this up, baby. It's going back to the potential of this happening. I'm not worried about, and I did have visions of some type of biochemical thing being used to harm people. Remember, I saw that, but I felt like I was in the Middle East. I didn't feel like I was in the United States. I mean, I really felt very strongly that that's where I was. And again, I could be wrong on the location, but I'm not like feeling like that's going to be the case in Chicago. I just feel like they just want to make people even more fearful than they already are, especially the people that are there. Maybe it'll chase them away. You know, seeing the pods there will make people not want to be there protesting. I don't know what their agenda is. Spirit's like if they were to release something, it would be something you wouldn't see purposely, and that's not going to happen either, like a bug. So, and I don't feel like that's the case. And, you know, it's interesting because, you know, we have them all speaking on stage, the fake Joe Biden, right? The Biden clone or the Biden actor, which is crazy. We talked about that video of him and his wife coming out of the White House, and he was like literally over a foot taller than her, which he's not that much taller than her. It's amazing to me that people don't see this, that they're still asleep to it. It blows my mind. Just like it blows my mind that, like, I heard Harris talking about all these things that she's going to do for the economy and this and that. And you've had 3.5 years to do all that. Like, what are you going to do? You haven't, it just drives me crazy. And people don't see that. They don't think of that. Oh, she's going to do this. I'm like, she can do that now. What are you waiting for? You have the power to do this all now, but you're not going to. It's all just a joke. All of them. It all drives me crazy. And all at the same time, remember, that's the same person that was in charge of our borders. which millions of people have come across, including sleeper cells that will eventually be activated in different countries, probably all of our countries, no matter what country you may be in. And now they're still blocking poor Robert F. Kennedy Jr. That's what makes me think the most, actually. Because you see the little uniparties fighting with each other. You see them, it's all about them. And it's funny, I'll put on, just for fun, just sometimes I'll like, what are they lying about today? And I'll put on like ABC or one of them. It's how funny how the ones like totally support and bash one candidate, and then the other network does the exact opposite. It just blows my mind. Nothing like bringing division to the people. That's why I like to be an independent, friends. That's the way to be. Be independent. Don't need to join your party. I like being my own self and making my own choices. But RFK, I just, I felt like his life was in danger. Just like I told you that Trump was going to be shot at and would be hit on the right side. I thought the right shoulder, but it was the ear, close enough. I still feel like they're all in danger, but especially RFK. And to me, this would be the biggest surprise come elections. Remember, Spirit said huge surprises are coming, including in October. So that's when I believe they're going to pull Harris out and put somebody else in there. I don't know how long they can wait to do that, but I still feel like she's not. I just don't see it. I just don't see it at all. I think the biggest surprise of all would be if Bobby Kennedy came in and won it all. I got to remember Spirit's reminding me of this, of my channel predictions where I saw a pancake flipping. And they told me it was going to flip. And I saw this a while ago. This was a while ago. A couple months ago, I believe, in channel predictions. Spirit showed me a pancake flipping. And I don't remember if I saw a color flipping. I think it was blue to red, but don't quote me on that because I don't remember. I don't remember even if there was a color, but I feel like there was. It was like blue to red. But definitely a flipping of the pancake. And that would be suddenly and unexpectedly. Also remember that I felt since last year, I've been telling you that don't count on there being an election on election day. And count on there being some kind of devastating event instead. And remember, Spirit said they could use technology, as we know, to make things shake up in a place where they want them to shake up, if you know what I mean, and quakes. And Spirit said that they would actually aggravate the fault lines on the West Coast and end up getting a lot worse than what they bargained for. That's what Spirit said. A lot worse than what they bargained for. That could be what they're planning for October surprise. That would prevent things. If there was a national emergency in our country, that would delay everything. Not only that, they're pushing those paper vote ballots on people again. I am so against them, friends. I just, that's how you make things happen the way you want them to happen. Or the way the elite want them to happen. I don't like that. But that would be the biggest surprise. In the end, all of a sudden it flips and we find out Kennedy won. Maybe that's the flip. Maybe that's why I didn't see color. I don't remember if I saw colors. I don't recall seeing colors. I have to go back and find that video, or maybe someone will remember. I just remember seeing the pancake flip in the pan. That would be... so what color are independents? Do they get a color? The Green Party gets green. What do independents get? I'm sure they have a color too, right? I'm sure someone will tell us in the comments down below. Moving right along. We're way past time. My tummy's growling. Where are we? So they all make claims to fix stuff and they never ever fix anything. So I lost my brain thought. North Korea is opening up their borders for tourism. Do you want to go with me? Yeah, I'm heading out next week. I'm kidding. I have no desire. He find out I'm a psychic, he would steal me in a heartbeat. And use me to his advantage. I would tell you, do not go there if you're especially an American or a European. Because there will be a point where I see a group of people being stuck there because of something that happens, like a conflict or something happens, and then the people become stuck there. And they won't let them out because they lock up their country. So, yeah, I don't advise going there, friends. And I feel like that's in 2025. Where something happens and they lock up their country. Interesting. So much. And then we see the Ukraine gaining territory in on Russia. And I can tell you right now, Putin is one angry man right now. Angry. But remember what Spirit told us, that they would end up eventually using some type of a defense weapon in the future that we've never seen used before. Maybe that's what makes them win it in the end. But remember, I did readings on this and videos on this going back when this all started a couple years ago or however long it's been. And Spirit showed us that Russia in the end would gain land and would gain, which they did. And then they lost it, and then they gained it again, and they're going to gain land. And eventually it's going to come to a close because there's going to be other things going on, and eventually, the United States isn't going to care about that anymore because there's too much of other things going on, like things going on in our country in itself, which we should be worried about, not worried about everybody else. Matthew Perry. Oh, my tea's cold. Gross. Matthew Perry. Remember the sad story of Matthew Perry and what happened to Matthew Perry? And I told you when it happened that there was somebody else there in the room where the hot tub is. There was somebody else there. I have no doubt. Now we know likely that was his assistant that helped assist him in getting the ketamine that took his life that eerie evening after he posted weird symbols like the tweet that he made of him holding cranberries. And the lead singer of the group, the Cranberries, who I love, I saw them in concert, Woodstock 94. It was amazing. And she passed away from drowning in water. In a hot tub, I think. Don't quote me on that. Hot tub, bathtub, or something like that. It's weird things around his passing. And I'm thinking he didn't put those tweets out. I'm thinking his assistant did. And not only that, they could say it was an accident, but we got to go with what Spirit told us. That was he was purposely targeted for goodness knows what reasons. Maybe he knows too much. We know a lot of them knew too much, so that's what usually happens. There's going to be more that's going to unravel from this. We see arrests, especially seeing the pictures of that one person. Oh my God. What? And the doctor? Yeah, that doctor needs to go away for a long time, but they're going to find out a lot more about this. This is going to lead to other underground breaks and trafficking drugs to celebrities and Hollywood stars. So much is going to come out in the realm of truth when it comes to the parties that the elite hold in Hollywood. We already seen what happens at Sean P. Diddy Combs' house. We see what happens to him. Yeah, Spirit says they're not done with him either. Who's them? CIA, FBI, whatever have you. They're not done with him yet either. There's too much that they can't cover it all up. Just kind of like Epstein. There's too much that they couldn't cover it up. So what did they do? That's what they did. I would not doubt that we see that happen to P. Diddy Combs in the future sometime. I'll have to look up at his numbers and look deeper into that. So another thing that's happening is we see more CEOs and leaders leaving power. Remember, I talked about this on my live just last week's show. You remember last week's show, I said to our friends in Japan that there was going to be a change in power coming to Japan. Literally, friends, it was the very next day that Japan's Prime Minister, Fumio Kishida, says he will step down next month and he will not run for re-election. Interesting, to say the least. But also, did you see Jamie Dimon, who's, one of the big banker dudes, CEOs? He's going to leave. We see by 2025. We see Klaus Schwab's going to retire by 2025. And, if you go back to early last year's predictions, I said we were going to see a record amount of CEOs and leaders leaving power. And that even continued in the early part of this year. And look at how many changes of power we have already witnessed, friends. So many changes of power, and it's continuing to happen. But why are the big bankers and Klaus all leaving? Seems like they're getting ready for something. Probably going to bunker down in their bunkers, I'd be willing to bet. But worry yourself not, says the spirits. Worry yourself not. And it reminds me of a video I did many years ago when I lived back east about Mother Earth and a message that I received about Mother Earth for the planet. And I remember in her message, she said that they can retreat to their bunkers and their bunkers will become their tombs. I remember Spirit said that. Because I'll tell you what, if the earth starts shaking, that's the last place I want to be, is underground. Although I'd like to have a bunker. But not if the earth shakes. Then I'm coming out of my bunker. I'd rather be above ground when the earth is shaking, not underground, personally. And other than that, friends, we've been here for a while, so I got to get rocking and rolling out of here. That's all I have for you today because I had a lot going on this week. I was waiting for delivery all day today, so I couldn't record this. Didn't have time to work on it like I normally do, so I worked on all this today while I was waiting for my deliveries. I very, very much hope that you enjoyed hanging out. What happened to my chat room? Oh, there it is. I very much hope that you enjoyed hanging out on this. Thank you, Lily. Thank you, Lily. Lily like the flower. Thank you for your chat cash. And thank you all for all the love and support that you helped to make this channel a success. Again, I had to do live today. I didn't have a choice. It was either live or not at all. Hey, better live than never. Kind of like better late than never. Better live. And it was a little bit earlier for you YouTubers. A little bit earlier for y'all. And once it's done, I'll upload it, download it, and upload it to all the other platforms. And I'll be back. I will be doing a channel prediction video this week. I don't know when I'll have it up for you all, but I plan on doing that meditation tomorrow and then editing it, maybe having it out to you on Thursday or Friday. So keep an eye out for that. And always keep an eye set on your notifications and always check to make sure you weren't mysteriously unsubscribed from my channel, which happens way too often, friends. That's out of our control. We have no control over that. That's Miss YouTube. She likes to do that. I don't know why. It's very unfair. But check. If you don't see me here on Tuesday or by Wednesday, don't email my office. Just check and check my social media first. Just in case, because you never know. And it is Mercury retrograde. And so far, Mercury's been very kind to me. I hope Mercury has been kind to you as well. Other than that, friends, I'm going to leave you and tell you to celebrate life, celebrate you, and be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you. And remember, to be bold, be true, be kind, be you. Let your light shine, baby. And I will see you in the future. Have a beautiful rest of your day. And namaste. Don't go, namaste. And much love, friends. Much love.